All right, everybody. Welcome to class. I hope you can see me okay. It's very sunny, so I've closed the curtains, but there's like a bright bit here. So we are going to start in a seated position, and I'm going to encourage you to get something to sit on. So maybe a cushion, a book. You're also welcome to sit in a chair if you prefer. But I encourage you to find a way to lift your feet. And the reason we do that is so that your pelvis can roll forward. And so if I show you from the side, when my pelvis is like leaning back, my spine kind of curls in. But if my pelvis tips forward, my spine gets more length. So my spine can get taller, my heart can get broader, and I can breathe deeper. So that's why we do that. And you can be sitting cross-legged or, in whatever combination of limbs feels good to your body. And then let's just take a moment to settle in. So maybe closing the eyes, maybe circling the shoulders. And then your hands can be resting in your lap, or if you like, you can take the hands to touch the belly or the heart, just wherever feels good for you. And take a moment to check. I like to try out a couple of variations till something feels comforting. Usually what I'm going for here is comforting. And then closing the eyes if they're not closed yet. And begin to slow down your breath. Breathing in slowly. And if you like, breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then continue breathing, maybe out through your mouth or just in and out through your nose. And just slowing the breath down as you allow the body, the nervous system, and the mind to arrive on the mat. And the breath is a really powerful tool that we use in yoga a lot. And here, you're slowing your breath down in a way that tells your nervous system, I'm safe, I can relax. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're just helping everything become a bit slower. If you have a busy life, like most people in this part of the world especially, if you have a busy life, you can find yourself spending a lot of time in this like fast, rushing gear, like the gears on a car, right? We have this sympathetic system gear that is about stress, and it's about escaping danger, and it's about moving quickly and efficiently, which is a really powerful mode to be in that is good at, for example, problem solving. It's good at getting children to school on time and all kinds of other things. But sometimes we can get stuck in that gear. And so here, by using the breath to consciously slow down, you are reminding your body that it has a different gear as well, that it has this parasympathetic state where you are able to rest, where you can relax, and where the body's other functions can begin to kick in. And as you sit here with the breath, just guiding it slowly in through the nose and out through the mouth. Today's class is going to be about the senses. And so at the body senses like seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, they are our connection to the world around us. And so as you sit here, even with the eyes closed, notice what can you hear in the space that you're in. And as you sit with the breath, maybe you can hear my voice. Maybe you can hear some noise from outside the room that you're in. Maybe you can hear your own breath. What can you taste? I recently brushed my teeth so I can taste toothpaste. You might be able to taste breakfast, your morning coffee. And what we're doing here is using the senses to bring you back into your body's awareness in a detailed way. What can you smell in the room that you're sitting in? Is there a scent to your house that you can smell? Maybe you can smell the laundry detergent of your clothes. Maybe you can smell your own body or other people. And as you continue breathing here, remember you're using this connection to your senses to really bring you into presence right now. And then wherever you're seated, what can you feel with the body? Can you feel the earth beneath you? Maybe your feet, your legs resting on the earth. Or maybe where your hands are on your body, can you feel your clothes or your skin underneath your hands? And when you're ready, gently blinking open the eyes, just very gently opening the gaze. What can you see? And maybe looking around the room, but make it slow. The way we use our senses usually, excuse me, we absorb information very quickly, like so quickly that often we miss the detail. So as you sit here in your awake body, notice the colors around you. Notice the taste, the smell, the sound, the feeling of this moment in your body. And then here we're going to begin to move. You can stay seated. And maybe we just begin to side bend. So reaching an arm over and to the side and then the other. You can do whatever movement you like here, but if you're coming with me, maybe taking the right hand to the ground and inhaling the left arm up and over. Exhaling as you stay here. Inhaling, come back to center and over. Good, and you can keep doing that. Or you can begin to circle the spine. And so my hands are in my lap, and I'm using my hands to move my spine from side to side. And here you can keep your hands down, or you can begin to reach them out. And as you do that, you may find in this movement, there's a side bend, there's a forward bend, there's another side bend, and there's a little back bend here. And you can change direction if you're circling. Good. And then taking the feet to the mat, we'll come into some seated cat-cow. You take the hands to the side, and as you inhale, actually take the hands to the shins. As you inhale, arch the back, open the heart. And as you exhale, pull the belly towards the spine, curling the tailbone under. Look towards the belly button. Inhale, open. Exhale, ripple. You can close your eyes if you'd like, moving at your own breath pace. As you breathe out, you close. And as you breathe in, you open. Keep going. Good. Keep breathing. And now take the hands to the ground and walk your way into a forward fold. Bend the knee, hold on to the opposite elbow, and sway yourself side to side, shaking out the head. And by bending the knees, you give the body permission to open. You give the spine space to lengthen. And then we keep doing this, or we come into some twists. Maybe taking left hand to the ground and inhaling the right arm up to the sky as the left knee bends. Exhale. Take the right hand down, bend the right knee, and take the left arm up. Breathe in and out. Left hand down, left knee bends. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale. And switch. And as you move like this, come back to your center. What can you hear? What can you smell? Taste? Feel? See? And now, taking the hands to the front of your legs. You're going to take your hands and lovingly brush them up the front of your body as you come to standing. Take your time with it. Take them along your legs, hips, belly, chest, collarbones, shoulders, neck, face, and the top of your head. Good. So now we're going to come into some awakening the body. And we'll begin with some tapping. So use the flat of your palm, or you can take your hand into a gentle fist. And you're just going to begin to tap the body. This is not complicated. So you can do this at your own rhythm. You don't need to follow me, but you're just using a little bit of pressure on the surface of your body with your hands to help the brain notice that your body is here, that it is awake. Remember, when you're doing the legs, do the tops of your feet and the bottom of your feet. Good. Keep going. Do the backs of your legs, your booty, your hips, your side body. Pay some special attention to the lower back, especially the kidney area. This one's a really big one in Chinese medicine in particular. The mid-back and the upper back. The neck. Really, really lightly the face. Good. And then come to standing. I've got my feet a bit wider than hip distance and my knees softly bent. To get into a standing position that feels comfortable, and we'll begin to shake. So bend the knees. Some of you know this really well now, and for some of you this is new, but either way, you are already an expert because this is a natural movement of your body. Like, this is not complicated. So bend your knees and just begin to bounce the body. Let the arms relax. And as the knees stay bent, it's like you're bouncing a tennis ball on the ground. So from your knees, the force of the movement comes through the ground and then comes back up through your body. So use that bounce to let the movement travel up your spine, into your shoulders, your arms, your hands. And maybe you start to also allow your head to relax. Keep breathing, please. So this is an animal kingdom movement. This is a movement we use in nature to release tension and stress. And I know it might feel weird, but I'm going to ask you to trust me and keep going. And sometimes it helps to close the eyes so you can feel it rather than think about it too much. And sometimes it becomes a dance, and that's okay too, but just keep going. So keep breathing, and all right, take your time. And it might just be a shaking. You might find you're shaking a leg, another leg. You may find you want to bounce. And I know it looks weird, and that's okay. Like, I don't care about how it looks. The reason we're doing this is about how it feels. Keep going. Notice the way your body is waking up. Notice how you may find you're shaking off residue, layers of what's been happening this week in your body. Keep breathing. Good. And now some of you will stay shaking, and some of you will move with me. So if you're moving with me, breathe in as you stand, and as you breathe out, let yourself drop down in a circle and breathe in up. And we'll start slow and get faster. So inhale up, exhale down. Breathe in and keep going. And when you breathe out and come down, the breathing out might get louder. So breathe out through your mouth. I know this one's a bit like an exorcism, but bear with me. It'll get gentler again, I promise. Keep going. Remember, this one is about being alive in your body. You can't do this wrong. We're doing another 3, 2, 1, and come to standing. Hands can be on your body or elbows in, palms up. Close the eyes. And just notice what's happening in your sensory perception. Notice the temperature of your skin, the rhythm of your heartbeat, how awake your body is right now, how all your senses have started paying attention to what is happening, because it's been a little bit unpredictable. And so having done that kind of movement, that kind of wild release, it's really important we also ground. So from here, take the hands to the ground, please. You can come into a forward fold, bending the knees as much as you like, or you can come into a squat. And so if a squat feels better in your body, heels in, toes out, hands to the ground. And I don't mind which version you're in, as long as your hands are touching the earth. And maybe you move side to side. And as you do this, I'd like you to lift your hand and really consciously put it back on the ground. So begin to wake up the sensory perception in your hands. These like tiny surfaces that we use all day in our lives. Begin to notice that you're using your hands and do it intentionally. Good. And then take your hands to the mat. And walk your way onto your hands and knees for cat-cow. As you inhale, arch your back, gaze forward. And as you breathe out, draw the belly towards the spine. Breathing the air out, out, out. Inhale, get lost. Breathe out, in. Keep going. Relax the jaw. So allow the teeth and lips to part. And maybe you begin to freestyle this a little. So maybe you roll the shoulders side to side. Maybe you shake out the head gently. Maybe you sway the hips side to side. Maybe you circle the rib cage. Maybe close your eyes as you do this. You can kind of feel the body rather than think about how it looks. Coming back to that sensory intelligence. Good, and then we're gonna wake up your core, traveling onto your belly, please. Travel onto your belly and come into Sphinx pose. So my forearms are flat on the ground and they're parallel. And my elbows are under my shoulders. Lift your feet as you inhale, and then as you exhale, press the feet down into the ground. Breathe in, looking forward. And then as you breathe out, you will lift your hips off the ground, but just like cat-cow, you're peeling your belly towards your spine as you do this. So you lift your hips about as high as your shoulders, but no back bending. Keep pulling the belly towards the spine and breathe out. And then when you breathe in, lower, look forward. And when you breathe out, pull the belly towards the spine and rise up. Keep going. Breathe in. Let the chest broaden, let the collarbones broaden, and breathe out, lift. Keep going like this. See if you can make the movement slow. So as you breathe out and lift, can that be a slow movement? And as you breathe in and lower, can you lower slowly? Keep going. Breathing out as you come up, and breathing in as you wriggle down and open the heart wide. Got another 2. 1. Okay, from here we travel to down dog. Sorry, not down dog. Sorry, that was a big lie. Child's pose. So the knees can be wide if you like. Take the forehead down to the ground and take your hands on the ground in front of you. Let the forehead rest down onto the floor. Now, when you breathe in, you are going to wriggle forward onto your belly and roll the shoulders up and back and lift up just a little into cobra pose. Breathe in. As you breathe out, move back, child's pose. Breathe in, cobra. So we're just going to repeat the sequence a few times, and I'd like you to play with it. So in the inhalation, you're opening up into cobra, and then as you breathe out, you're slinking your way back to child's pose. And you may take a few breaths in each transition, but just have a play with this movement. Remember, when you lift up, the shoulders come back and down the back of the neck stays long. And as you breathe out, use your core to pull the pelvis back towards the heels. Take another 2 of those. So inhaling forwards and up, and exhaling as you pull yourself back. Good. And on the next time you're exhaling, rather than back to child's pose, I'd like you to tuck your toes and lift up to down dog. The feet are hip distance apart. The hands are shoulders distance apart. And please feel free to bend the knees. Shake out the head. Maybe you're bending one knee and then the other. Just allowing the legs to kind of wake up a little bit. Good. Another thing I really think is useful in down dog is wriggle your heels to the left. Let your hips move to the left and press into your hands. So you breathe into the side of your right body here. Keep breathing. And then wriggle back to center and we switch. Roll the heel towards the right. Let the booty go to the right. Press into both your hands and breathe into your side body to the left side. Let the neck relax. Using your breath to create space in the side of your body here. Good. And then come back to down dog. And I'd like you to bring the left foot forward. So we're going to come into a lunge. And for this lunge, forgive me, my outfit is misbehaving. For this lunge, your left foot is forward, the right is back. The feet are hip distance wide, and your right hand is on the ground. So you've got 3 points of contact with the ground, your feet and your right hand. And now I'd like you to just begin to pulse forwards and back in this. So my back knee is lifted, and you can bend it as you move forwards and back. And you may find that you want to take the movement into your arms and kind of let the arm swing or shake as you move. Press into your feet and into your hands. See if you can move faster. Remember, this is about play. So you're playing with the way that your body is allowed to move. Often, we're moving in a very controlled, socially appropriate ways, right? So as you keep going here, play with the fact that you're allowed to move in other directions. Keep going. Good. And then make your way back to downward dog. Forgive me, I need to plug in my speakers. That's what's happening to the soundtrack. And then in down dog, you're going to bring the right foot forwards and switch. So we come back into the lunge with the left hand down, and the back knee is up. And you can begin to roll forwards and back. Stay with your breath and begin to move the right arm. Keep going. And I'm just gonna make our speakers work again, but stay with your breath. Keep going, please. There we go. Keep moving forward and back. Remember, you're allowed to move that arm. Okay, and then step the left foot forward until you come back into the squat at the top of your mat. So, heels in, toes out. Some of you will be able to sit really low here. Some of you will be a little higher. I'm good with either option, but whichever variation you're in, can you move a little? Maybe side to side. Good. And then take the feet parallel. Hold on to the opposite elbows. And just sway your body again. And then press into your feet. And as you inhale, come up one vertebra at a time. Your head coming up last. Good. And step to the top of your mat. We're going to come through one more standing movement before we melt to the ground. And this one will be about waking up your glutes. So come into chair pose. The feet are hip distance apart. Bend the knees and sit into the squat. Gather your pelvic floor. So engage your pelvic floor like you prevent yourself from peeing. And then engage the lower belly towards the spine. So the tailbone rolls down. And then gather the ribs. And from this core activation, let your spine get longer. Hands can be in prayer or reaching forward, your choice. Keep breathing and see if you want to sit a bit lower. Okay, and then we're going to come into the sequence. So as you inhale, lift the left foot off the ground. And as you exhale, extend the left leg back. So the foot might be just off the ground, or you might be working towards parallel. Wherever you are, reach the arms back actively and make sure that when you're doing this, your right hip is not swinging to the side, okay? So roll that hip inwards so your hips stay level. Breathe. Use your glutes in particular. Make sure that bottom knee is soft, so softly bent. Now, as you breathe out, bend both your knees and bring them to touch. Bring the forearms to touch, I know. Breathe in, open back. This pose is called Warrior 3. It requires us to be warriors in this moment. Exhale, bring the knees and forearms to touch. Keep going. So as you breathe in, open. And as you breathe out, bring the forearms and the knees to touch. Breathe in, open. Breathe out, forearms and knees touch. One more time. Okay, now bring your feet to the top of the mat, chair pose. Good. Take a moment in the forward fold. Shake out the body. All right, second side. Taking, I believe, the right foot up. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, reach the right leg back. Make sure that left hip hugs in and your glutes are helping the leg extend. Breathe in. As you breathe out, bring the forearms and the knees to touch. Breathe in, lengthen. Breathe out, touch. Breathe in. Keep going. And so as you're doing this, use your heart opening to help balance you. And breathe out, connect. 2 more. Inhale to open. Exhale, activate in. 1 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, bring to touch. And this time, come back, forward fold. Good. And from here, come to a seated position, please. We're going to do one more kind of intense thing. So coming to that comfortable seat, this is a heart opener. So if you've been sitting a lot, this one's particularly good. I like to do this one kneeling, but if that doesn't feel good in your body, sitting in any way is good. And so we're going to think about opening this space, okay? And so as you do this, as you breathe in, open the arms. The elbows are a little bit bent, just thinking it through. Yeah. And my hands are facing towards you. And then as you breathe out, you're going to turn the arms back. So my hands are facing towards the wall. Now, hang on, I'm just remembering it. It's been a while. Is that it? Yeah, okay, I've got it. So breathe in, pull the elbows in, palms towards me. Breathe out, extend the arms, reach the hands back. In, out. Now, I'm going to get you to keep moving and move at your own breath. Let's see if you can move faster than when we began. Keep breathing. And as you do this really quickly, you're going to notice your shoulders turn on. The shoulders are going to start to talk to you. Remember that this sensation is a good thing. This is your body being awake. And this is you reminding your body, hey, you're allowed to open too. Keep breathing. You're doing really beautifully. See if you can move a little bit faster, but just a little bit more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands to the body, sit still. Closing the eyes. And just let yourself feel what's happening. So notice where there may be more space in the body, where you may feel opening. Notice the speed of your breath right now. Notice your connection back to the breath as you continue to breathe in and out of the nose. Come back to your senses. Use that bodily perception of the world to help ground you here. Good. And then opening the eyes, we're going to make our way towards something called puppy pose. And so this one's a big heart opener. And if I'm in a park, I can't do this one because I feel kind of, there's a lot of cultural shyness about heart openers in public, right? So in the peace of your house, this might feel more comfortable. Coming with your hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Keep your knees under your hips as much as possible. And then just walk your hands forwards. And so you're letting your heart melt towards the ground. Maybe your forearms come down to the ground. Maybe they don't. Maybe your head comes to the ground. And I'd like you to just breathe into the back of your heart here. And imagine there's like a warm melting that's happening across your shoulder blades here. Use your breath to breathe into what is, and then use your breath out like a comforting warmth across your upper back, helping this area to open. Just a couple more breaths here. Good. And then roll yourself back onto your hands and knees. You're going to come into pigeon pose for your hips. So lift the knees, come to a very gentle down dog. And then you're going to bring your right knee forward, bringing the knee behind and to the right of the right hand. Walk the left leg back. On that left leg. And now with this one, make sure the foot is flexed. So the toes are not pointed, they're flexed. Breathe in, look forward. And then as you breathe out, maybe you come down, maybe onto your elbows, maybe onto your forearms, maybe the head comes to the ground. And maybe it's just your elbows, and then you take maybe your palms into prayer and take your thumbs to resting between your eyebrows. And maybe your head melts into your hands. Maybe you close your eyes as you drop into the breath here. Keep guiding that right hip back and the left forwards a little. And just breathe into your pelvis. So let the bones, the muscles, the tissues, the organs of your pelvis get heavier here as they are supported here. And then taking your hands slowly back to the ground as you breathe in, come back towards down dog and shaking out the legs. Good. And now bring the left hand behind and to the left. Sorry, not the left hand. The left knee behind and to the left of the left hand. So it is flexed. Walk the right leg back and look behind you. Make sure the foot isn't winging out to the side. And then roll the left hip back and the right hip forward. As you breathe in, lengthen up. And as you breathe out, let yourself melt downwards. And just come to the level that feels good to the body. Maybe forearms, elbows, maybe head down to the ground. Maybe your head rests in your hands. Soften the jaw. And just breathe into your pelvis. Breathe into the bones, the muscles, the tissues, the organs, the steering wheel of your life here. Breathe into that space. And as you breathe in, gently coming back up to center. Coming back towards down dog. Shaking it out. And then we're going to come to a wall. So find a wall near you. And if you have a blanket or a pillow, you may want to get that now. I've just decided that that is actually a good idea. Apologies for not saying it earlier. But you'll just need a thin one. So a blanket or a pillow will do great. And we're going to take the legs up the wall. So come to sitting with your hip next to the wall. I'm going to try to not kick all the picture frames. And then you'll roll yourself slowly down. And as you roll yourself down, your legs can go up the wall. Now, forgive me that I can't see you as I do this, but I'm with you, I promise. Now here, the closer your hips are to the wall, the more intense this is. So you can walk your pelvis away from the wall if you would prefer, and then it might become a little gentler. You can stay here, but for some people, they like to take a cushion into their lower back, so into the natural curve. And so to do that, I've pushed into my feet, bent my knees, and lifted my hips a moment, and then settled back down. Now here, you can keep your legs straight if that feels good. But some people really like coming into a hip opener here, so into a squat, but on the wall. And so for this one, I've taken my feet wide, heels in, toes out. And I'm just letting my knees open to the sides. And you can choose which feels better here. The hands can be resting on your body, or they can just open to your sides. Allow the shoulders to melt down your back. Allow the back of your neck to get long. And let your head get heavy as it rests into the ground beneath you. And now begin to allow the breath to just wash through you. So rather than being an entity you have to control really carefully, what does it feel like to just allow the breath to move through you at whatever pace is now happening? Allow the breath to be like ripples on a sunlit body of water that just moves in and out at its own rhythm without you needing to do anything. Let the body grow heavy as it rests down into the ground. Beginning to deepen your breath here as you breathe into your belly. Coming back into the body as you gently move your fingertips and your toes. Take your time as you gently draw the knees in towards the chest and roll yourself onto your side, letting yourself be heavy on the ground again a moment. And then gradually make your way up to a comfortable seat. There is no rush in this, so take your time, please. Gradually arriving in a seated position. And bring your hands back to the body, to wherever you started today. And just notice, as you sit here, just notice what you have built in your connection to the breath and to your body, and your reawakened connection to your senses, to taste, smell, sound, sight, and sensation. And we can end class here, or if you'd like to end with me, we take the hands to prayer at the heart. And taking a moment here to pay our respects to the roots of this tradition. And in modern history, that's particularly the area now known as the Indian subcontinent. And so to do that, we bow heads to the heart. Thank you. And opening the eyes when you are ready. Thank you, dear souls.